What is the glorified body? The Catholic Encyclopedia states, "All shall rise from the dead in their own, in their entire, and in immortal bodies. But the good shall rise to the resurrection of life, the wicked to the resurrection of judgment." It goes on to say that even though the risen bodies of all people will have characteristics of identity, entirety, and immortality, the bodies of the saints will be glorified in that they will possess 4 extra transcendent endowments. These are impassibility, clarity, agility, and subtlety. Professor Ludwig Ott, an ordained priest and doctor of theology, in his book Fundamentals of Catholic Dogma, originally published in 1952, described these transcendent endowments as follows. Impassibility. Impassibility means the incapability of suffering any kind of physical evils, death, sorrow, illness, etc. The glorified body will be free of these maladies, which cause so much anguish here in this life. Clarity. Clarity means brilliance. The glorified body will shine with an unmistakable radiance, much as the body of Jesus appeared at the Transfiguration. The glorified body will be full of splendor and radiance to the extent that the soul possesses clarity, which in turn depends upon the soul's merits. Agility. Agility is the power of the body to move easily and quickly at the soul's behest. No longer weighed down, the human body in heaven will move with great rapidity and amazing elegance. Subtlety. Subtlety has been described as the power to penetrate. No material objects will deter the glorified body from moving to and fro. Instead, the glorified body, after the example of Jesus' risen body, will have complete ability to move from one place to another unrestricted. What prompted the creation of the doctrine of the post-resurrection glorified body was the fact that the risen Christ was not confined by the laws of physical science, laws that all physical objects, including physical human bodies, are bound by. For example, he would suddenly appear in a room where the disciples were gathered, even though the doors were locked. Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut where the disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews, came Jesus and stood in the midst, and said unto them, Peace be unto you. He would also suddenly vanish out of the disciples' sight. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it, and brake and gave it to them. And their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. Also, in opposition to the law of gravity, he ascended up into heaven. And it came to pass, while he blessed them, he was parted from them and carried up into heaven. In seeking to understand what the glorified body is, remember what Jesus Christ told his disciples. I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. It is evident that one of the many things that Jesus Christ did not reveal to his disciples is the dual nature of a human being. That is, along with having a physical body that is bound by the laws of physical science and is mortal, all human beings have a soul that is not bound by the laws of physical science and is immortal. Thus, when the body dies and returns to dust, the soul lives on. And indeed, the soul has the qualities of impassibility, clarity, agility, and subtlety. In other words, what the Catholic Church is calling the glorified body is simply the human soul, which lives on after the death of the physical body. Here's the good news. Since the human soul does not need a physical body, risen or otherwise, to fulfill its purpose, everyone who has ever died ascended immediately to the heavenly world to pursue fulfilling that purpose. From the moment that the soul leaves the body and arrives in the heavenly world, its evolution is spiritual, and that evolution is the approaching unto God. Stated another way, no one who has ever died is waiting in limbo or in a state of suspended animation somewhere for their physical bodies to be reassembled from the dust and reanimated so that they can resume their journey towards God. For everyone, past, present, or future, Judgment Day is the day that their physical body dies. In the words of Baha'u'lláh, the Spirit of Truth who has come to guide you unto all truth, it is clear and evident that all men shall, after their physical death, estimate the worth of their deeds and realize all that their hands have wrought. I swear by the day star that shineth above the horizon of divine power, they that are the followers of the one true God shall, the moment they depart out of this life, experience such joy and gladness as would be impossible to describe, while they that live in error shall be seized with such fear and trembling, and shall be filled with such consternation as nothing can exceed. Well is it with him that hath quaffed the choice and incorruptible wine of faith through the gracious favor and the manifold bounties of him who is the Lord of all faith. In the words of ABDU'L-BAHÁ, Baha'u'llah's son and authoritative interpreter of his teachings, if a cage containing a bird is destroyed, the bird is unharmed. If a lamp is broken, the flame can still burn bright. The same thing applies to the spirit of man. Though death destroys his body, it has no power over his spirit. This is eternal, everlasting. As to the soul of man after death, it remains in the degree of purity to which it has evolved during life in the physical body. And after it is freed from the body, it remains plunged in the ocean of God's mercy. Thou hast asked me concerning the nature of the soul. Know verily that the soul is a sign of God, a heavenly gem, whose reality the most learned of men hath failed to grasp, and whose mystery no mind, however acute, can ever hope to unravel. It is the first among all created things to declare the excellence of its Creator, the first to recognize His glory, to cleave to His truth, and to bow down in adoration before Him. If it be faithful to God, it will reflect His light, and will eventually return unto Him. If it fail, however, in its allegiance to its Creator, it will become a victim to self and passion, and will in the end sink in their depths. The Bahá'í Teachings on the Impassibility of the Soul. Know thou that the soul of man is exalted above, and is independent of all infirmities of body or mind. That a sick person showeth signs of weakness is due to the hindrances that interpose themselves between his soul and his body, for the soul itself remaineth unaffected by any bodily ailments. Consider the light of the lamp. Though an external object may interfere with its radiance, the light itself continueth to shine with undiminished power. In like manner, every malady affecting the body of man is an impediment that preventeth the soul from manifesting its inherent might and power. When it leaveth the body, however, it will evince such ascendancy and reveal such influence as no force on earth can equal. Every pure, every refined and sanctified soul will be endowed with tremendous power, and shall rejoice with exceeding gladness. The Bahá'í Teachings on the clarity or brilliance of the soul. Be calm, be strong, be grateful, and become a lamp full of light, that the darkness of sorrows will be annihilated, and that the sun of everlasting joy arise from the dawning place of heart and soul shining brightly. Those souls whose inner being is lit by the love of God are even as spreading rays of light, and they shine out like stars of holiness in a pure and crystalline sky. The Bahá'í Teachings on the agility and subtlety of the soul. This body is even as the cage, and the spirit is like the bird. We observe that this bird, unencumbered by its cage, soars freely in the world of sleep. Therefore, should the cage be broken, the bird would not only continue to exist, but its senses would be heightened, its perception would be expanded, and its joy would grow more intense. In reality, it would be leaving a place of torment for a delightsome paradise. For there is no greater paradise for the grateful birds than to be freed from their cage. In the world of dreams, the soul sees with the eyes closed. Man is seemingly dead. Lies there as dead, the ears do not hear, yet he hears. The body lies there, but he, that is the soul, travels, sees, observes. All the instruments of the body are inactive, all the functions seemingly useless. Notwithstanding this, there is an immediate and vivid perception by the soul. Exhilaration is experienced. The soul journeys, perceives, senses. It often happens that a man in a state of wakefulness is not able to accomplish the solution of a problem, and when he goes to sleep, he will reach that solution in a dream. How often it has happened that he has dreamed, even as the prophets have dreamed, of the future, and events which have thus been foreshadowed have come to pass literally. Therefore we learn that the immortality of the soul or spirit is not contingent or dependent upon the so-called immortality of the body, because the body in the quiescent state, in the time of sleep, may be as dead, unconscious, senseless. But the soul or spirit is possessed of perception, sensations, motion and discovery. Even inspiration and revelation are obtained by it. How many were the prophets who have had marvelous visions of the future while in that state? The spirit or human soul is the rider, and the body is only the steed. If anything affects the steed, the rider is not affected by it. Therefore, if the body be subject to disintegration, the spirit is not affected by these changes or transformations. Man, the true man, is soul, not body. Though physically man belongs to the animal kingdom, yet his soul lifts him above the rest of creation. Behold how the light of the sun illuminates the world of matter. Even so doth the divine light shed its rays in the kingdom of the soul. The soul it is which makes the human creature a celestial entity. Thou hast asked me concerning the state of the soul after its separation from the body. Know thou of a truth, that if the soul of man hath walked in the ways of God, it will assuredly return and be gathered to the glory of the Beloved. By the righteousness of God, it shall attain a station such as no pen can depict or tongue describe. The soul that hath remained faithful to the cause of God and stood unwaveringly firm in his path shall after his ascension be possessed of such power that all the worlds which the Almighty hath created can benefit through him. Such a soul provideth, at the bidding of the ideal King and the divine Educator, the pure leaven that leaveneth the world of being, and furnishes the power through which the arts and wonders of the world are made manifest. Consider how meal needeth leaven to be leavened with. Those souls that are the symbols of detachment are the leaven of the world. Meditate on this and be of the thankful.